What is up? Hopefully you guys are having a wonderful day. Back with some more Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater gameplay for you. And last time I talked about Metal Gear Solid in my last video, I was talking about which games in the Metal Gear franchise I feel need to be remade instead of Metal Gear Solid 3. This time I'm going to be talking about if we had to have a brand new title in the Metal Gear Solid franchise, what they should do. Now, in my opinion, I feel like the character that should be the main character in this game is not going to be Naked Snake, Solid Snake, or even Raiden, which might be surprising to some, but to me, I feel like this character who's even cooler than all three of them, even though those characters are really cool themselves, I feel like this character deserves it more, and it'll just be cool to see how they became the character we all know and love, and that is the boss. Now, the boss is one of the coolest characters in this entire franchise, but not just in the franchise, but just in video games, period. I mean, she has so many great moments, great lines, and her impact with all the characters in this franchise is immeasurable. I mean, she has such a huge impact, just how mature and just wise beyond her years she is, and how ultimately it just seems like everyone's just trying to play catch up to the boss and the level she's at. And I've always just wondered how she got to be that way. What did she experience and go through? And so in my opinion, I feel like they should have a Metal Gear Solid game that takes place during World War II, where we see how the boss ultimately became the character that we know and love her for in Metal Gear Solid 3.
Listen to me, Jack. Just because soldiers are on the same side right now doesn't mean they always will be. Having personal feelings about your comrades is one of the worst sins you can commit. Politics determine who you face on the battlefield. And politics are a living thing. They change along with the times. Yesterday's good might be tomorrow's evil. A soldier is a political tool, nothing more. That's doubly true if he's a career soldier. Right and wrong have no place in his mission. He has no enemies and no friends. Only the mission. You follow the orders you're given. That's what being a soldier is.
I do whatever I have to get the job done. I don't think about politics.
That's not the same thing. Sooner or later, your conscience is going to bother you. In the end, you have to choose whether you're going to live as a soldier or just another man with a gun. There's a saying in the Orient, loyalty to the end. Do you know what it means?
Being patriotic.
It means devoting yourself to your country.
I follow the president and the top brass. I'm ready to die for them if necessary.
The president and the top brass won't be there forever. Once their terms are up, others will take their place.
I follow the will of the leader, no matter who's in charge.
People aren't the ones who dictate the missions.
Then who does?
The times. People's values change over time, and so do the leaders of a country. So there's no such thing as an enemy in absolute terms. The enemies we fight are only enemies in relative terms, constantly changing with the times. As long as we have loyalty to the end, there's no point in believing in anything, even in those we love.
And that's the way a soldier's supposed to think?
The only thing we can believe in with absolute certainty is the mission, Jack.
I could listen to the boss's lines all day. They're so good, and that's just only a few of them. But getting back to what I would like to see if they ever do make a game with the boss as a main character set during World War II, I'd like to see also how she became the mother of our special forces. How she also met the Cobra unit, because I've always thought the Cobra unit was really unique and different. I'll just go out on a limb. I've always liked them more than even the Fox Sound unit or Dead Cell from Metal Gear Solid 2 or the Beauty and Beast unit. I always thought the Cobra unit just kind of had a really cool aesthetic, but I like to see these guys before they became who they are today. The Yen, the Fury, the Pain, the Fear. But also I like to see the sorrow, and also how the boss met the sorrow and how that became to be, that relationship, and how the joy and the sorrow became to be, and how ultimately having birth on the battlefield ultimately gave birth to Asa, maybe even showing that, how she got the scar on her chest and stuff like that during the battlefield. So we could also see their relationship with Major Zero, why he holds her in the utmost reverence. I think just to see how all these characters became to be so just entranced by the boss and why they basically would follow her and why they have such the utmost respect. I'd like to see how that came to be. But of course, we also are going to see how the boss became this really legendary soldier herself, and that's where being in the World War II times, it'd just be cool, because I look at Metal Gear Solid 3 in its own right. Is I remember personally playing, Metal Gear Solid 1 and 2, and then when it went back at 3, when I first heard that, I was just like, I don't know about this, but ironically enough, I just felt it was cooler and just better, ironically, even though it was going in the past. So I feel like the same can be true going even further in the past and showcasing like what a lot of soldiers had to do back then. Because I always say this, I think some of the most badass soldiers are the ones from the earlier times. So we could see what made the boss so good, not just in her physical attributes, but just her mental attributes, how she mentally became the woman she eventually became to be, and why she believes, loyalty to the end, basically lives and breathes it. And I would just love to see that, because that's the thing with Metal Gear Solid, any game, is you really go deep with these characters. And the boss is a character that, I mean, she's only in one game, but does she make a damn impact? And, just being in one game, can you imagine she got another one? That'd be absolutely insane how, much in depth. Now, the one thing, and I guess it's the one thing I'm always afraid of with this, and unfortunately, it's going to be the one thing we're always going to be afraid of with any new Metal Gear Solid game, whether it's a remake or something new, is that obviously it is Konami. So, unfortunately, we don't have Kojima there anymore. So, Konami, it's going to have to come down to them, and that's where a lot of the fear, I think, comes from. So, because I can see a lot of people saying, well, that sounds like a good idea, but do you really buy them to pull it off? And I unfortunately can't answer that, and the track record isn't good, but who knows, broke clock is right twice a day. Maybe you get lucky, but nonetheless, I just like to see more of the boss. I think she's an awesome character. I think she's the coolest character from the game franchise, and I just feel like this is something that I would like to see further explored sometime, and just be cool to go to that area, because as I said, I love Metal Gear Solid 3 so much. I just feel like they could do the same thing in that World War II era, but nonetheless, that is my opinion. I want to hear your guys' opinion. What would you like to see personally? If you could have a brand new game in a Metal Gear Solid franchise, what would you want to see? Would you want to see something involving, maybe the other snakes, Naked Snake or Solid Snake? Would you want to see Raiden? And where would you want to see it take place? Would you want to see it take place maybe after MGS4 or in between the Metal Gear Solid era from 1 to 4? Would you want to see it take place during 3, or are you like me? You want to see the boss? Go back in time to see how the boss became the woman she became to be eventually. Let me know down in the comment section down below. But thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video, and hopefully I can see you guys back on the next one. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this rest of your day, and I hope to see you all later. Peace.
Just look at that bandana. If you can't put the past behind you, you won't survive long. If we meet again, I'll kill you. Now, go home.